Okay, here we are back at serpents, stones, stars, and spirits. So we're going to go into serpents first, and we'll go and break this up. Here's a part about serpents, and I want you people to understand that this is over in Egypt, and serpent worship of serpents, and there's serpents in their religious artifacts was very common. So it's not uncommon to find serpents in your religious things in Maya, Egypt, or any place around the world. And here is China. This one is over in China. It's a serpent. And, well, I'm sorry to say I'm not the first person to know about these people. Yes, they were tall and big. This one shows some kind of study, but they were stocky people. Through the chest and things like that, they were stocky. You can look at the Cherokee and see some of the remnants of this. And right here you see the horn headdress. The horn headdress. Pay particular attention to that. Now this is an older picture, but notice that. I mean, where there's myths and theories, sometimes there's facts. And this is a picture that they drew of the Sasquatch. They were big. They were tall. Look at that pig here, and there's a wolf head. So this represents that they were tall people. And this is a bear. Right there's a bear mouth and stuff. When in the description of these people, you can see that. And right here you see Sasquatch are a grand-like people. And unlike this, so there you have that. And by the way, Europe wasn't the first one to come out with a longbow. Right there's a longbow. And they usually are 7 feet or tall. Right there's a 7-foot arrow, and the club is a very big club. So there we have it. The Huron and other Iroquois speaking people called these people Andaste Toronhona, meaning people of the Black and Ridge Pole. I hope I pronounced that word right there, right? Right there, Andaste. Andaste Toronhona. So meaning people of the Black and Ridge Pole. Related to their building practices of erecting poles, or blackened poles, or stones. The French adopted a Huron term and called them the Andastes. Andastes in plural. And usually that's probably what they called themselves. The Lenape, Delaware, and Allegheny people used an ethnonym for their traditional enemy, Mingui, which meant without penis. Yes, I'm sorry, people. They were not very well liked. That's just the way. And that's a common misconception. When Europeans came over here, they would, well, who's these people over here? And the Cherokee, oh, those are the Choctaw. Which, if you really want to know some of the determinations of what other tribes called each other, you're not getting the true thing and what they are. But they would ask the tribe there, and they would give their definition of what that tribe is, not their actual name. So, that's just to clear up a few things. Okay, Powhatan called them Sasquatch, English Sasquatch, or Conestoga, after the town they lived in, probably taken from the term Conestoga, possibly meaning place of the upright pole. They were not the Allegheny because they were not in that area until 1678. The Andastes were wiped out before this even happened. You can get into Ed's thing or future thing. They was wiped out before 1670 or near extinction at that time. Okay, now here we have the disc that Ed talks about in his talk, and here we have a serpent. Here, where this is talking about the serpent. And here we have the serpent, the horned serpent, right there. And right there is a man with a horn headdress on. Okay, so this tells you that this is probably petroglyphs by the Andastes, or the Adena tribe, the Adena people. That's what they call themselves, Yashanok or the Andastes. So you can call them anything you want, Andastes. And this is by my daughter. I had her draw this up for a specific reason. I want you to take note of this. And just some of the makers. And here is this is New York, Woodstock. I'm going to mention Woodstock. For those that went, you probably don't remember it, but you probably don't remember where Woodstock's at. It's down in here. It's right down in here. It's along the river here. Woodstock, but actually, I think Bethel is a town it was actually happened in, was Woodstock. I believe it's Bethel. Overlook Mountain, Woodstock, New York. So there you got Overlook Mountain. There's rocks and stones up in there. But what's up on this is this. The stone structure that looks like a serpent that goes right back this way. Okay. Then we go on, and this is Canuck, Ashtabula County. But see right here. Now I want you to notice this ridge right here, this angle right here. If this is north, then this right here is the summer solstice. Right here, right there is the summer solstice. From that gate there to that opening there, and that is probably another serpent-like head there that overlooks the Kanuka Creek. And there's another creek that comes into this right down in here somewhere. So that's in Ashtabula County. And here, this one, Serpent Wall in Pennsylvania. And there you go, and there's the head, and right back here is a serpent wall. Now these was not built by the English people. These were here when the English people got here. So in Boyd County, Kentucky, I've been there. Right here. Right here's the Ohio River. Right here's Kanuka River. And this right here, you see it. Right here's the river coming in here, and right there's the Ohio River. Here's South Point, and right here's Cattlesburg. And right here there's a refinery right here. This is a refinery, and there's a bunch of power lines that come up through here. But right here is where this serpent used to sit at. And this is it. This is just a head. So this is part of that culture of these people, the serpent. And they would see this stuff sticking up like this, and they would add to it because, you know, it was to them. The Cherokee also called them the stone people. So along now. Now this guy found this here. Now whether this is so or not, it would be a very nice thing if it is. You can see the mouth right here, the eyes, and it comes back here like this. He believes this was carved into that. It's very likely that they did because they was into carving stone. So, you know, along that line. And this is in West Virginia. These were stone walls built in West Virginia along Armstrong Creek and Kanawha River. You can see them right here. The thing is, right now all this has been destroyed by strip mining and coal mining. Strip mining, it's all been destroyed. And this is Warren County, Ohio. I've heard people say Serpent Mound is the only serpent that's ever been in Ohio. Serpent Mound is the only serpent mound ever in Ohio. No. There was one down here somewhere across the river. There was another one over here in that's Warren County. Meigs County, somewhere in here. But this was the one here in Warren County. You can see this here is kind of significant also, that little squirt tail there. I'll explain that in one of these other videos. Right there you see it there, and right there's the head. Again, here we got a creek that comes in here, and then there's the little main river. Again, this is overlooking a junction of a creek and a river. I'm finding that more perspective in that they overlook the junction of a creek and a river. So, and here's a picture of it. So we can see the outline of it, that there you go is the serpent right there. So this is Warren County, Ohio now. But alas, yes, Serpent Mountain is probably the only last surviving one. Maybe, we don't know. We got word that someone that said there may be one on their property. We're going to go and take a look at that. And this is what it looks like now. Another example of Ohio Historical Connections, aka Ohio Historical Society. Wonderful work. It's now the Morrow Gravel Company. So that's what happened to that serpent there. Turned into a. And this is Calhoun County, Alabama. Right here is Calhoun County, and right here you have this. Now I want you to notice this is from New York, clear down to Alabama, up to Ohio, and it goes on even further. This is in Calhoun County, Alabama. This is in Alabama, and here we have this plains up at the Plains River, up in Illinois, and we have this. The serpent. There's a serpent swallowing an egg. Effigies. And that way he's north there, and this is this Plain River, and then of course I think there's another creek that comes into this somewhere along the line in here. And this is Alton, St. Louis. Now I want to go into this a little bit more. I may be talking too fast, but I was trying to get into this. Alton, this was where we have the Fiaze drawing, Marquette Fiaze drawing. This is his inscription of that. You see the long big tail, and here's the horned beast, or the serpent, or whatever, the horned beast, and that was that. And now there used to be two of them. Here's one here, and this is a depiction of it. The Fiaze, the upper Fiaze, lower Fiaze, and middle Fiaze. The different things, and this was the upper Fiaze. And there you see the horned serpent and all that, and the winged serpent, and it's all inspiring to all who viewed it. It's a wonderful thing. Of course, it's not there no more. It's been destroyed. This is a lithograph of it, so this is quite a fearsome beast. And here you see the horns and stuff like that. Now, this is in Missouri. This is in, I think, well, it's in the drawing is in Chicago, Illinois, and Springfield and stuff like that. Okay, but this here is out there in it, and here we have here. Once we're looking at a thunderbird or a bird effigy around Portsmouth that contracted Lyme disease, but that's okay. Once Ed fell down almost on his face and spilled his coffee. I wanted to take some time here to explain the last few images. When archaeologists see certain images, they ascertain these images to a certain group or to a certain culture. Well, since they only want to place the Adena to a certain place in America, I now lay claim that any thought or idea that places them outside that realm is mine and Ed's. And I have shown that people who are outside of just the Ohio region or the Pennsylvania area, matter of fact, they were very traveled and spread out over time. I really do not care what you want to call them, but I have shown what they referred to themselves and what others have called them in the Americans. Yes, they were tall. Were all the Andastes tall? I don't think so. I believe the vast hierarchy was. Even the regular Andastes were taller than most Native Americans. And I also want to add at this time, I don't know, there's other people that's also said this, that the Adenas wasn't just culturalized to Central Ohio and the Pittsburgh area. Some people are saying that they was very well spread out, and some are not. But after you see this, there's no doubt that they was, because this is in Leo, Petroglyph, and Jackson, Ohio, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania. Now you've seen the connection through all these, through this culture here, the headdress. Yes, it's probably spread out over many centuries, but that's just, and if the spiritual part of it, we'll get into a little bit here, the spiritual part of it is just park that. It's hard to take and have people in a spiritual or religious realm and say, well, this is their religion, but they're not that. If it's just like saying, well, the Christians call a Christian a Jew, something else, or calling one religion another religion. This is all the same religion, and all the same people, same culture. And here's another winged serpent mound on Spruce Hill. That was A.H. Mallory in December of 1949. It's no longer there. This has been plowed down. It's gone. The present pond is still there. The pond is still there. But the mound, I don't even think... I'd like to see a LiDAR of that hill to see if this does show up. This is a plate I ran across. And I think some other people have got this plate too. It's a plate from Putman. You see the coral here. And by the way, this was only like 1.5 feet tall. Okay, we're going to count the corals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, if you look at Serpent Mound today, there's only 6 corals. Why would this 7th one have a big impact on anything? Well, the serpent, the horned serpent, Chucula, had 7 hearts, 7 corals. That goes back into native religion, into the Cherokee tradition, way back into what the natives call beginning of time. So when they're talking about far back in the beginning, they're talking about their culture all the way back. when they was let out from underneath the ground. So you see the corals here. Now I want you also to notice there's a couple of things here I want you to notice. This here, this post, this here, which was a pile of rocks and a few other things. This image here, which is out here, which actually some said it was almost connected like a double circle. This way is north, and right here is the edge of the cliff. As you can see, that's the edge of the cliff. So this thing went clear out almost to the edge of the cliff. But what's out there now? You can go out there and see it for yourself. There's not much there. So, and there was something buried here, okay, that they found, and a couple other things that they like. And right there's where they talk about where you cut through the images. I'd like to see this plate for real and see what all them scribble marks are. And here is Bill Romain's new site survey. And right there you see that coral. So you got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right there's that 7th coral that comes up. So Putman reconstructed this out from here on out. I don't even think it looks like this, what it was anymore. He reconstructed it. And I did want to note that even though he did reconstruct it, you can see right along in this ridge line here, 2 other little bumps or disturbances there. So I just wanted to throw that out there. That's where this is the magnetic resonance, and this is just some of his surveys. He went clear down to the rock to get some of these samples and stuff like that. He did a very good job. Okay, and this, if you ever see this is the great plan for the serpent. I think this is what they wanted it to look like. It didn't end up that way. You can see this image right there. Right there, just that's the image of the Thunderbird. If you ever see the image of a Thunderbird, that's what that is. So, okay, now that's the end of the serpent part of this. Now we're going to get into the stone part. So I'm going to break it off right here for this part of this section, and we'll get into the stones here after a while. And you can go, if you want to keep going on that, you can just click on the next one, and you can see about the stones.